Let's call to order the Boise Parks and Rec Commission monthly meeting today. We need to do, it looks like a roll call.
All right. Burnham,
Here.
Johnson,
Here,
Mazu,
Here.
Walker,
Here.
Urban,
Here.
Raber,
Here.
Faber, Stidham.
Here.
it looks like under new business, our first agenda item is the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from last month?
I move to approve the minutes from August.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm assuming that passed. Oh, opposed. Is anybody opposed? Sounds good. Okay, so now we've passed. Now we're going to get an update on the zoo master plan from Director Holloway.
Madam Chair, Commission members, thank you. This actually would have been an update by our zoo superintendent, Gene Peacock. He is attending a conference in Canada for the AZA. And so I graciously volunteered to step in for him. This is a presentation that both Gene and Roseanne Brown, our superintendent of recreation, did for the mayor and city council last week. I believe it was last week. And so we wanted to bring that to the council for your update on what's happening at these two important parts and two important divisions within our operation. So having said that, this is a really more of a project update on the construction that's going on at Zoo Boise. And so we have a master plan that will be multiple decades in the build out, 3 different phases that will take us probably at least 20 plus years to complete. What we're focusing on right now is what you see in yellow, which is phase 1 of the master plan implementation from a construction perspective. And we've broken phase 1 actually out into 2 subphases, 1A and 1B. And we are well into our 1A, and I will show you some photos here in a moment on some slides further in the deck. But it includes a new Red Panda complex, a gift shop, education center, and then we are also going to be renovating the small animal kingdom. Once we've completed that, then we will start fundraising for what would be phase 1B, which would then complete the entirety of phase 1. And that will include a new penguin exhibit, a snow leopard exhibit, a new commissary kitchen for our animal feeding program. And most of that we believe will start at some point in 2025, and construction will follow contingent on the fundraising opportunities with our amazing partner, Friends of Zoo Boise. You can see the note at the bottom of the drawing there. It says Friends of Zoo Boise has raised about $9.9 million to do this phase 1A, which is absolutely, I just got to stop for a moment and think, that's a lot of money, and that's an amazing opportunity that our partner has done. No city funds are going into this phase 1A. It is all being raised by Zoo Boise. I believe the total amount will be close to 11 million. So I believe it's $1 million plus more they need to raise. And they feel pretty confident in the outreach they have been conducting that they will be able to raise that amount of money while they're finishing up phase 1A and have that in the bank to get that completed. So this is the Red Panda exhibit. On the right is a rendering of, give you a snapshot of what it would look like. On the left is an architect's rendering of kind of give you a flavor of what the outside will look like. As you can see, there's a number of outdoor viewing portions for the Red Panda that are covered from the top that will provide a completely different zoo experience than what you see in the very small, very antiquated red panda exhibit we currently have now. I won't go into detail. We can have certainly Gene come back and explain, but we have become a national recipient of a breeding program for red pandas. They were looking for a zoo that was having success with red pandas, that it was AZA certified to really be a location that can do certain types of breeding efforts with red pandas that then would be shipped to different zoos all over the country. And Boise has been selected to do that. So we've designed really this new red panda exhibit to accommodate some of that future breeding processes that we'll be involved in with the AZA. So this picture was taken, I believe, 3 weeks ago. There's been, believe it or not, some significant progress on what you see even here. But the walls are up. It's moving very fast, and we are ahead of schedule on having this completed before next spring. So this is really going to be exciting because the red pandas are arguably one of our most popular animals that we have in our exhibit, and our guests just love the interaction with them. And this new exhibit is going to provide some amazing additional interaction with them. The gift shop is really almost a throwaway spot right now in the current zoo. It's in a location where it was the only place we could put it, and so we just threw a bunch of stuffed animals in that location and called it a gift shop. It really is. It's moved a couple of different times over the years at Zoo Boise, but it actually does very well. It is under contract with a company called SSA Concessions, which also does our food and beverage as well at Zoo Boise. So they handle the gift shop, they handle the all of our food and beverage concessions, and so we really needed to create a better environment for the gift shop for our vendor, and so we are building a new exhibit, new gift shop. It will be on the south side of the entrance into Zoo Boise. So the entrance will be in the same spot, but both the red panda exhibit and the gift shop and the education center will be located on the river side now of the entrance coming into Zoo Boise. Again, construction's underway for the gift shop at the same time with our red panda exhibit. And again, these are 3 weeks old. Some walls are starting to go up at the new gift shop as well. So we're excited to have something in place that is going to serve our guests and also serve our contractor with SSA. The next part to this phase 1A is a new education center. And this one we're really excited about because our education program at Zoo Boise is just grown tremendously, and we really only have a couple of small antiquated locations to be able to conduct our education program there. A lot of it's done in our multi-purpose room up front in a building that's adjacent to the gift shop. What excites us, I think, most about this is that we're going to be able to utilize this for a lot of city services. So where now we have just really a couple of places at Zoo Boise where we can accommodate larger scale meetings, where we can accommodate day-long retreats, not only for our partners in the community and some of the organizations that we have relationships with, but also with our own city. So we will have areas in this education complex that we're going to be able to now conduct those day-long events and a state-of-the-art facility, which we're really excited about. And then we're going to have some small animal interactions within the education center as well. If you've been in our multi-purpose room where we have a lot of the education programs over at Zoo Boise, you can see we have some aquariums and some things set up in there where we do have some small animal interaction already, but this is going to take that actually to a whole nother level. The Small Animal Kingdom, if you're familiar with that, is one of the newer exhibits. I don't have the exact date, but I think it came right after the Out of Africa exhibit was, and I believe that was like 14 years ago. And this is a big part of our operation, also a very popular part of operation. It's mostly indoor, a portion of it. But the problem with this area is it does not have any restroom facilities. And so this gives us an opportunity to do some upgrades that you won't notice. So a lot of infrastructure work that we need to do, but adding an ADA restroom access facility there is something that will, certainly make a big difference with our guests in that area. So that will also be done in this phase 1A process as well. So moving on to phase 1B, and this one we're real excited about as well because it's the penguin exhibit. And we really now have an opportunity to bring the penguin exhibit as it exists today. It is, like many of the older exhibits we have at Zoo Boise, is very antiquated. But yet our penguins are they're right up there with lions, the tigers, the red pandas as far as our guest experience and interaction. But the exhibit is just not an efficient exhibit. We have some leaking problems with the water. We do have some water quality issues that we continue to deal with. It just wasn't built really appropriately for what we want to see with a state-of-the-art exhibit that fits, the city of Boise standards. So this one we're real excited about as well, and it'll be about a $5 million plus new exhibit, but it is one that we have put at the top of the list on phase 1B that we want to see get done relatively soon. We also want to put a new snow leopard exhibit in as well. And I believe the plan is to put the penguin exhibit where the snow leopard is at this point. So that's right as you walk in the gate, as soon as you come into the front area, one of the first things you'll see will be the penguin exhibit and your interaction with that. The animal commissary, this is kind of like the back of the house stuff. It's like when you do, like we remodeled City Hall, did a lot of work in the garage. We did a lot of work in the infrastructure that spent a ton of money on, but really didn't get, people don't see the results of that. People love to see lots of cool things happening in a place like Zoo Boise. The animal commissary is probably one of our most important parts of our zoo because this is where we prepare the food that we serve our animals. And so it's a very important space. Again, like everything else that I'm talking to you about today, Madam President and Commission members, everything is really outdated. And we really recognize that when we opened Gorongosa a few years back. Our guests immediately saw how great and cool that was and then looked at everything else. And it's kind of like, hey, when are we going to do something different, with the rest of the exhibits? And that's when we immediately launched into the master plan and started putting pen to paper to kind of come up with what the costs were going to be. And as you see what the Friends have already done in getting 1A knocked out for us. Now we need to work on how we can fundraise to get 1B and get some of these things like the penguin exhibit, redone and out there for our public to view. So this is some about our attendance. Our zoo programming from an educational standpoint continues to grow every year. We have continuous waiting lists like we do in all of our rec side programs. Our school visits are really up. We have been really a major part of curriculum in all the school districts in the Treasure Valley. Zoo Boise is a regional facility. It's not a Boise-only facility. So we serve, we've had this year alone schools come up from as far away as deep into Nevada. I know we've had Elko. I think we've had Winnemucca schools come up here and spend the day at Zoo Boise. So being able to enhance that experience, it's not just to see the animals, but there are other educational components that we can add to those visits so we keep schools coming back. Conservation promotion is really, really super important to us. So anytime we can get a group of school kids coming through and learning about what we're doing with the money we raise and where it's going and how it's making big progress in animal conservation around the world, and also right here in Boise is very important from that educational standpoint. You see our attendance numbers, we're up a little bit from last year, but that's also taken into account, we've had some issues with heat, as we're all aware, at a period of time where we had, 100 plus degrees. We're just not getting attendance at the zoo when we have that. And certainly smoky weather does affect that as well. But the fact that if we could just hold our attendance year over year consistent, that's a big win for us. And it looks like we're going to be up just a little bit more. And you see what the attendance all of last year ended up being for the zoo, which makes the Zoo Boise probably, if not one of the highest attended facilities in certainly the Treasure Valley, but could be even in Idaho. So when you look at Boise State football, what do we get? 38,000 times 6. So whatever that, amounts to, this is a pretty good number that we see coming in and out of the gates here. And I don't know if Rosanna's I don't know if we have in our presentation our attendance numbers at Idaho Ice World, but they get pretty close to rivaling these numbers as well. So your Park and Rec department has a lot of people coming and going out of our facilities. So with that, I am happy to answer any questions before I turn it over to the second half of our presentation with our Superintendent of Recreation, but happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Thank you, Director Holloway. I have a quick question. When we were talking about funding and that great amount that Friends of Zoo Boise raised, which is, really admirable, a lot of money. But we were talking about phase 1 and phase A and phase
Mhm.
A and B in phase 1.
Correct.
I'll
Yes.
get there. And you talked about 11 million. Is that to complete phase B or B in phase 1? Or we need an additional amount?
Yeah, Madam President, Commission members, so the 9.9 I showed you on the slide is still about $1 million, $2 million, $4 million, somewhere in that. It's a moving target right now, short of finishing 1A. And so, but they feel, our Friends of Zoo Boise board feels very confident they're in a position, they feel like that money they're going to get with the outreach they have been conducting. And so they believe by the time this construction winds down, they'll have that amount of money. So that's off the table now. We've got 1A completely done. It's funded. And now we need to move forward and how we're going to tackle 1B and get that penguin exhibit, the snow leopard, the commissary, and then we're doing some office open space as well.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for answering that.
You're welcome.
Any
Madam
questions?
President, Doug, not necessarily a question, but just a comment. Super exciting to see the reinvestment in the zoo. It is one of our best resources in the city for our youth. And I know all of our schools in the Boise School District have thoroughly enjoyed the zoo, and it's a big part of what we do. And I know our kids look forward to those field trips when they get those opportunities. And I would also say our leadership in our district also has enjoyed being able to host meetings there at some of the meeting rooms that you have available. And we've had some of our best meetings on site there at the zoo. It's super exciting to see the reinvestment.
Madam President, Commissioner Walker, I appreciate that. I know your meetings are disrupted because of Revan, our lion, likes to come up to the glass window. Because I know you're at you guys enjoy the schoolhouse. I know going in there, and I know he likes to parade around there, and you can't get work done. So that's why the education complex is going to be nice to push. We'll push the district over there so you can get work done.
That sounds great.
Any other questions? Comments? Okay, well, this was just an informational item, so we don't need to do any voting on that. And it looks like next up, we have the wonderful Superintendent Brown to give us a recreation update.
Madam President, Commissioners, thank you for having me. Speaking of behavior, that little guy, he can be a handful, but isn't he cute? All right, so I'm here to talk about the Recreation Division, and I am not going to be covering everything because Doug told me I had 15 minutes and I had to hit the highlights. So I am happy to come back and fill you in with the rest of the stuff. It might take a little bit longer, but A big thing this year was our registration. We really pushed the online effort. And we also chose one day where all the registrations were going to happen. In the past, we've had play camps be in January, maybe some of our other popular camps 2 months later, thinking that it would help parents get into the program. We realized that parents really struggled with managing everything they wanted to do during the summer, including maybe other opportunities in the community. So having it all in one day gave them the opportunity to make those decisions right then, and it was a big hit. As you can see, we collected a lot of money the first day, actually within the first hour, and I'll be discussing play camps a little bit more later on in the presentation, but play camps fill within minutes. It's seriously just like camping when you're trying to get a spot and it's like 12:01, minutes. And unfortunately, we do have quite a few people on the waiting list for most of our camps. And because of that, we're making some changes, which I will also explain later in the program. It shows that we give $200,000 in scholarships. That includes not only individual scholarships for programs, but it also includes transportation for seniors to our Dick Eardley Senior Center, which is free to them. It also includes our adaptive program, so it's folks with disabilities. And it also includes transportation for our Refugee Soccer Nations United program. So we partner with those organizations to make sure that there's accessibility, but the rest is kiddos, right? We largely depend on the school district to provide us with information on kids who need funding. We have what's called an external scholarship, and that is where a principal or a counselor can just basically sign the paper saying that there is a need, and we give them a full scholarship. Our other program is an internal scholarship, and that's when they have to provide financial information for us to put them on a scale. So the external scholarship, which is the Kristen Armstrong External Scholarship, has really provided an opportunity for families who maybe either doesn't want to give our financial information, or just the school determines and reaches out to those families to get them into maybe a play camp where it's all day summer care at a local park. So I spent all of it, and I actually, there's another program, my scholarship, which is our art program at the Boise School District, where we go in and do pottery and other types of mediums. And it's all scholarship, and it's fall and the spring. And we try to hit all 1st through 6th grade classrooms at schools that were Title I, but we've gone to a couple that are not. So I couldn't fund that program in full this year because of it. And I brought that up to City Council, and they all offered money out of their own pocket to cover the scholarships. Not really, but they did say that they would provide more budget for that. So I'm super excited, and we certainly will be asking for that money. Okay, so you can see how enrollments have changed. There's definitely a need for our services in the community. And like I said before, our waiting lists, probably 90 to 95% of our programs have waiting lists. And it's restricted due to maybe facilities or parks we've decided on, or whatsoever it could be. But we constantly every year are trying to find ways to either create new programs or open more opportunities in current programs for this need. Because as you can see, we're popular. We're fun to be around. Okay, play camps. We have 9 play camps, and they serve anywhere from 50 to 60 kiddos. And this is every day, 7:30 to 5:30. And we provide going to the pool twice a week. We go on an excursion, whether it be the zoo or somewhere else. 4 of those parks, we have our Picnic in the Park program, which I'll talk about later. So they get that opportunity to have something to eat at lunchtime. And we're adding another camp. And City Council did not get to hear this because Doug just made this decision. And it's going to be at Philippi Park. Beautiful park, lots of shade, great facility, but it's just to get those people off the waiting list. We do carve out a couple of spots to make sure that maybe some late scholarship participants can be admitted to the program. Interfaith Sanctuary we partner with. We try very, very hard to make sure that we are accessible to everybody. But it is a very popular program, very affordable. And so we're going to ask it. I attend the park, and when I came on, I think there were four play camps. So that's a huge growth in a short period of time. We also added a junior high program called Out and About, because those kiddos need to have to do something too. But those are like week-long programs, and we just do a ton of stuff in a week. They're very similar to our Recum camps, where we have to make it like full of variety or they won't be interested. So that also had a waiting list. Our Recum camps, they fill quickly. That is just like Out and About, where we go to Ice World. We might go to the climbing gym. We might do all these different things. And then we have Mountain Discovery Camp, which is a partnership with Bogus Basin. And you go and get to explore the outdoors up there. All very, very popular. All the community is asking us for more. So business operations, Idaho Ice World. A couple of years ago, if you would have asked me if Idaho Ice World made any money, I would have started laughing and then answered you, no, Ice World is subsidized and there's no way that we're going to make money. So then COVID hit, right? And there was discussions that we might not have Idaho Ice World anymore. So when we were able to open, we made some significant changes, and we have someone who uses our facility from Coeur d'Alene and provides a lot of our revenue. But now we made over $2 million. And this is a program that didn't make any money. And fortunately for our Warm Springs, I always say it wrong, grill and golf. Thank you. There we go. Grill and golf. Idaho Ice World actually helped subsidize that effort, which if you would have asked me a couple years ago if Ice World could do that, I would have laughed and then answered. So if you look at our programming with public skate, hockey, and learn to skate, huge increases. We have a phenomenal hockey coordinator, Corey Scorin, who's been very creative in 2 sheets of ice and making these programs work. It's becoming very popular. And I was informed today that all these adult people who are beginning to work at Micron or have been moving here to work at Micron are all hockey players. So there's this need for programming for not only youth, but also the adult community. And then, as you know, our golf courses do quite well. But what's really, really crazy is that when we took Quail Hollow, Warm Springs had to subsidize it for sure, because we're going from a private course to a public course, and there are a lot of growing pains in that. And now their revenue is up. Warm Springs is up. Even with the smoke and the heat, they continue to do well. And now we're building this beautiful facility, and the community, the golf community, is so committed to it. They're trying to raise additional dollars to get kind of those perks that, why are you pointing?
I just wanted to point something out real quick. I didn't mean to interrupt
he
you.
does
but-
this. I'm
Yeah,
like,
Madam President, Commission members, I just wanted to point out that the Ice World number, that's not our profit at 2.1 million. So I just want to make sure that that's what our total revenue is. But we are making 6 figures of profit every year. In fact, we've been able to bank about 1.2, 1.3 million. And Roseanne's going to address kind of where some of that money went to as well. But I just wanted to make sure that we knew that. Yeah.
Madam President, Commissioners, thank you, Doug. Okay. Anyways, so they're raising more money because some of the things we had to cut, kind of the perks and whistles, they want it. So they're kind of I shouldn't say penny pinching, because people are writing checks for 25,000 and 50,000. I don't really call that penny pinching, but they are supporting making this facility just amazing. So that's exciting. Okay, so we have a visual and performing arts program. You can see our registrations, particularly our visual arts program, the one that participates in the school district, is just rocking. We ran out of space. We use everything we can in the schools and in our facilities, and is doing so well that we were able to add another full-time position to that program. And that's the person who actually runs the school district art piece. So that's really exciting. And Chris Kranz, who's our coordinator, is a beautiful potter, as you know, he just is. And so he works with Boise State. He fixes kilns for the community. He's just a wonderful part of our team. We have the best adaptive recreation program in the state, and I can say that with full confidence. Emily Kavork is coordinator for that program and has worked, oh gosh, she's been here for 20 plus years. And each year we have more participation, we have more exposure, and we provide more to the community. And the adaptive sports camp in June, it's a week-long program. And if you ever can come watch, it is amazing. It is amazing what they provide to those folks. And we also added some things, like we had an inclusive party at Ivy Wild, and that was really popular. And it just, she provides this year-end report every year, and every year it's more and more and more. So many people call her for advice throughout the state, and she's kind of just the hub of not only providing accommodations for our programs for inclusivity, but also her own programs throughout the year. Picnic in the Park. So the Idaho Food Bank ran this program for a long time and came to a point where they couldn't do it anymore for funding reasons. And with these this program being in our parks for play camp, it was really important that we did everything we could to make that continue. So Doug said yes to us running the program. And that first year we partnered with some different organizations and really did kind of that back of the house stuff to provide it. It was very, very difficult. So the next year we partnered with the school district, and we go and pick up food from them, and we go to the parks and we serve it at 4 of our park locations. And we do it primarily with volunteers, and they love it. And we serve 5,415 lunches. I mean, that's pretty incredible to do in 4 parks. And we do some special events, like if we have the cup with a cone or any of that type of thing, we try to incorporate that into our Picnic in the Park program. And it's people are so appreciative, and we're so appreciative of the school district because they're the house of it and do all the work, paperwork, and we get to go and feed the community and have fun. So very, very thankful for that partnership, and we're able to do that. And we plan on continuing and maybe even expanding the parks that we serve at. Oh, we're already there. Okay. So to kind of expand with the play camps, we also run our Kid City programs. And that is another phenomenal partnership with the school district. We're able to use their facilities and program out of there. We exchange, basic costs for that, and we provide care for 80 plus kids per site. There's a couple smaller sites that's more like 50 to 60, but this is all fit for $15 a year. And that's basically just so they're committed to coming to the program. We serve Kid City. And when I came on in 2008, my job was mobile recreation and to open Morley Nelson and Whitney and Grace Jordan. Well, Morley, Grace, and then Whitney the next year. And now we have all these community centers, and I've just watched it grow, and it is such an incredible asset to this community, and frankly, the best after-school program there is in the state. But I'm just bragging a little bit. So anyways, unless Doug has something else he'd like me to expand on, I'll take any questions, Madam President or commissioners.
Madam President, commission members, and I just would add that you're also looking at adding a West Ada,
Yes.
another West Ada Kid City location as well.
Correct, to try it, because we only have one. We have McMillan out there, and we'd like to add another one because there's a little bit of a desert there that we're not serving at this point.
Madam President, Commission members, the only other thing I would is on the slide on the camps. I just wanted to point out that Roseanne just identified these 3 camps. We have a whole bunch. I mean, there are so many, but I just asked Roseanne so she just highlighted these, the 3 below the play camp. Play camps are flagship, but then I just asked her to highlight, a couple of camps. But I mean, we have sailing camps. We have, I mean, I couldn't even tell you the number. It's off the charts on how many activities we have for kids to occupy their time during an entire week, and sometimes multiple weeks throughout the summer. And so I just wanted to point that out, that we just don't have 3.
Madam President, Commissioners, no, that's why I said I only had 15 minutes and that I could come back for an hour and just talk about all my stuff.
Madam President, Roseanne, first off, just love the partnership from the school standpoint. It is truly amazing how we're able to combine resources and meet the needs of the community year round. That summertime is always a time that, from a school district standpoint, where I wouldn't say worry, but we want to ensure that we have places for kids to be plugged in. And you guys do such an amazing job of providing different opportunities and experiences for kids. And it's really cool. And so my one question is, with the fee increases this year, how did that impact registrations, or did you see any impact with any of that?
Madam President, Commissioner, no. Frankly, our increases are pretty modest, and we're still very, compared to other organizations, very affordable. And then we have the scholarship program. So we did not see a hiccup in that whatsoever.
Superintendent Brown, thank you. Love to hear about all these programs. I love to hear that we're meeting the needs of kids when they're outside of school, especially the lunch program, knowing kids are getting fed. Just, you can always feel good about kids getting fed. And I was going to ask you, you said that you were looking to council to kind of fund more. So you're seeing more need in terms of scholarships. Do you feel like that is just the growth in the community? Like, it's not, what am I trying to say? Is there more need per capita, or it's just the growth? We're saying that we need more camps, we need more scholarship money for camps.
Madam President, Commissioners, it's the influx of people moving here. And a lot of our programs also reach outside of Boise. And it's just, so if you were to say a lot of folks are maybe moving out of Boise right now because it's expensive, well, we're still meeting those needs because those kids are still coming to our programs. I know there's been a Title I adjustment as far as schools qualifying for that. And we've made a cohesive decision that if there's a need there, we program there. It doesn't have to be Title I, where years ago, that was kind of our criteria. It is not at this point in time. So I think it is strictly more people. Yeah.
And Madam President, Commission members, I'd also add, I think it's Roseanne's team and the outreach and making sure that they are engaging the schools, engaging counselors, engaging the other organizations that we partner with to make sure they know that scholarship money is available. We will make space for your children. I believe your new superintendent, former deputy superintendent, Lisa Roberts, probably still holds the record for the number of scholarships submitted in the course of a year when she was principal at Morley Nelson. She did a fantastic job of identifying children and making sure they got involved in not just play camp during the summer, but any of the other different programs and activities we run throughout the summer. So it is that village concept. It takes all the organizations and then Roseanne's team of really being cognizant of what's out there and making sure that we're filling that need and continue to fill that need. And then it's just, Councilmember Morales has just joined us, and I know Councilmember Willits is also on Zoom, that their support is unbridled. I mean, it is like they said at this meeting that Roseanne did a week ago that we will get you more. We do not want kids left out. So come back and get more money from us. If you're exceeding your $200,000 that we budgeted, please come back and get more because we do not want to see kids left out. That kind of support is unheard of. And it's basically, here's your budget and do it the best you can. But we've got that kind of support, and we really appreciate that. And it's helping the community. So thank you, council member.
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Members.
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that. And I know Roseanne had joked about us being willing to do out of pocket, probably are, and I think Lucy was maybe the one that offered to do that personally. I'll say that since she's not here personally, maybe she's listening or not, but no, and I think we all were very strong in saying that we don't want to see other programs taken off the board to be able to ensure that we meet the scholarships that we need. And so we really do want to make sure that that unmet need is found and taken care of. So thank you for bringing that before us and helping highlight that need.
Yes, thank you. I love the partnerships too. Love to hear about the Interfaith Sanctuary partnership. It's great to identify the need and meet it. Thank you, council. Okay, so any other
President?
questions? We have a question from Linda.
Hi.
Hi.
I just, I think Roseanne and her team have a lot to be proud of. So don't worry about boasting. You have amazing programs going. So thank you so much for all your hard work. You mentioned early on something about refugee soccer, Nations United. I was just curious about that program. If you have like 30 seconds to talk about it.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners. Yes, so we have been actually transporting Nation United because they have a full program of competitions with the refugee community, and they participate in other parts of the community. So we just pick them up at their place of residence with our buses that are beautiful, by the way. If you haven't seen them, they don't look like prison buses anymore. We just pick them up and we transport them and we give them opportunity because we know that's a huge barrier for them to participate in that program. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes.
Madam
thank you.
President, so we don't organize it.
Mm-mm.
We tell the organizers, we will get the kids to where they need to go. We will utilize our buses, beautifully wrapped, by the way, and get the kids there, make sure that they get there.
Thank you so much.
Great. Do we
I
have?
have a question
Go ahead.
too. Regarding the wait list, it sounded like space was a concern. Is that accurate for what we can? So could you describe like what that means in regard to, is that inside or I think I see the parks and we have lots of parks and whatnot. So just curious if you could maybe tease that out a little bit.
Madam President, Commissioners, absolutely. So to participate in a park, there's a lot of things that we have to consider. So one thing is if there's a pond, can't program there. If it's by a really loud, like by the freeway, and it's so loud that we won't be able to hear the kids, we can't program there. Some of our younger parks have really immature trees, and with it being 100+ degrees, we need shade for sure. We do have indoor facilities we go to if it gets really, really hot. We do that with the school district as well. But just in general, it being hot in the summer, we do need shade. So when we were looking for our 10th camp, we vetted quite a few parks to see, because there's an area that we're missing the boat. We want to serve more, but we just couldn't find a park that's going to have all those things. So that's one thing. That's as far as play camps. But like our volleyball, there's like, we use their gyms. Like there's no, we have to share some of that with other organizations, and there's just no more space. Or for our basketball program, no more space. We are kind of restricted as far as facilities go and that kind of thing. So instead we did a big sand volleyball thing, and we're up to 90 teams for the summer. So we're trying to be creative on how to like hit a niche, but not need more school district facilities or that type of thing. And as far as camps go, it is a staffing situation, but so we used to serve 140 kids at Morley Nelson Community Center when I was there, and it was chaos. Like they were safe, but I was just making sure nobody got hurt, right? Where when COVID hit, we were still open. Like we still served kids at a much smaller ratio, obviously, but with the kids that absolutely needed somewhere to go, whose parents needed help, we were open for. Going out of COVID, we realized that that was a much better quality program. So now we're at 60 kids or 80 kids. 80 kids is the max, where it used to be 140. So that's kind of some of the decisions we've had to make it not only safe, but a quality program. And again, my team's very, very creative. And when they see a niche, they just, like last week, someone said, do we use churches? And already 2 of my team members have reached out to churches to see if we can fill a niche. So I really feel like they do their best because we don't like waiting lists. We like waiting lists because, yay, we're important, but we don't like waiting lists because we want everyone to participate.
Did I get your answer, Commissioner?
Oh yeah, thank you. That was very helpful, and I'm a huge advocate for increasing recreation spaces. And so it's really helpful to know that impact as well, on a side that I don't see. So thank you.
And Madam President, Commission members, I believe for the most part in the summer, we got everybody off waiting lists into something at some point, or the majority, did we not?
No, yeah, we did. We just they have to go to a different location. So it's not as convenient. Like if someone lives in the north end and they don't get into Elm Grove or Eagle Rock and have to go to Winstead, it's not their favorite, but we have that opportunity to fill a space.
And I believe Whittier, for example, had a waiting list of several kids for Kid City, and we were able to get most of those kids off the wait list. It's taken us a few weeks into the school session to be able to do that, but it looks like we've gotten that remedied at that location as well. So, but hats off to the recreation team looking for creative ways and ways to get kids. We don't want them on waiting lists. That's why we're adding another Kids City Center that we want to in West Ada in areas that we're not located, and another summer play camp to try to get more kids that would be on that waiting list to start the summer in a play camp somewhere. And convenience is important. We are pushing that as a city. We don't want you to have to drive very far. We'd love for everybody to walk to a local park and have a play camp at that location. Roseanne gave the criteria. There's some things we can't give on, and we need a shelter, we need restroom, and we need storage, and we need a little bit of maturity at that location. And we did look at a couple of sites very hard. They were on the freeway, and we really wanted to go in those locations because they pushed us out further in Southwest, which is where we want to be. But unfortunately, it's just not going to work. We want to go to Molinar. That would be a beautiful play camp site, but it's got a pond. It's got a giant pond. And so we're just concerned with when you have 80 kids running around and you have water, we really don't want to take that liability and risk on. So, but nice work by your team.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, that was an informational item. Thank you so much, Superintendent.
You're welcome.
We do not need a vote, and I do not believe we have an executive session. Okay, so if anyone would like to move to adjourn,
I move to adjourn.
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you all online. Thank you so much for participating today.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care.